What's going on, y'all? It's TCG here, back again with another review, whatever you want to call this. Today we're going to be taking a look at the ST-14 starter deck, which is the 3D2Y deck, and we're just going to be taking a look at all the cards that are included in one copy of the deck, give you my thoughts and opinions over it, and these are going to be all off the bat. You know, I've read these cards when they first initially got revealed, but I really haven't been back to them in quite some time. I feel that this deck is a little forgettable, and none of the cards really stood out to me too much when I first read them, except for maybe a couple of them. But, you know, before we jump into that, I want to shout out today's sponsor, and that is going to be Dueling Guard. Huh? You still aren't using Dueling Guard? Then you aren't using the best TCG accessories on the market. Dueling Guard makes the highest quality TCG deck boxes with the most stunning artwork I've ever seen. Their modular design allows for easy access to your decks and dice. They don't just make deck boxes, they also make the highest quality binders with side-loading pages to keep your expensive cards safe and protected. They also make high-quality playmats and now even sleeves. I personally use their sleeves on all of my cards and cannot go back to another sleeve after I've been using theirs. They are grippy and slick when you need them to be, and I have no doubts that my cards are protected in them. Gear up with Dueling Guard to protect your cards in style. Don't forget to use code GUMGUMTCG to get a discount at checkout. Let's just go ahead and start off the bat with the leader. So this is an all-black deck. We had one of these last year, I believe, which was the Monkey D. Luffy all-black deck that was based all around Luffy and characters that he's encountered in his story. And this is all based around the 3D2Y arc or movie, whichever one, and where all the characters got separated. Spoilers, all the characters got separated and kind of did their own independent training. And yeah, right before or right during this time skip, if you will. So off the bat, we have Monkey D. Luffy. This is a 5,000 power leader, black, 5 life, Straw Hat Crew. I believe all these cards, at least the Straw Hat Crews, are Straw Hat Crew typing. And he has the effect of Dawn ×1 to give all of your characters +1 cost. Then, if you control a cost 8 or higher character, this leader gains 1,000 power. So, reminiscent of Smoker in a sense, where if there is a 0 on the field, he gets +1,000. So, this is if there is an 8 or higher on the field, and it gives all your characters +1 cost. So, that's kind of the premise of this deck, is going to be around raising the cost of things, raising the cost of characters that you control. So I guess this could kind of be considered an anti-removal deck. You know, you're raising your characters' cost so high that your opponent can't put them down far enough to remove them with things. And they all unlock certain things if you control a character with X cost on the field. I believe 8 is one of the numbers that is present on most of these cards, but it's pretty interesting. I figured that this was coming eventually because we have minusing cost. They had to include plus cost at some point, and if we look into OP08, we have another card that does this, which is going to be the Jack, which gives himself like +4 cost, and he becomes an 11 cost on the field, which is very, very strong and very, very hard for decks to get rid of, unless you're playing something like blue or yellow that just has a card. I guess Stussy could even do it to just remove something instantly. No cost dependence there. But it's very interesting that we're going down this route, and I think this leader's okay, but like I said, it reminds me of Smoker, and Smoker feels a little outclassed at this point. The cards that you can play in the Smoker deck are good, but is the leader effect still super strong? We'll have to see. You know, I feel like if this leader said, then this character gains 1,000 power until the start of your next turn, that would be really strong. That would be pretty strong, and it would entice me to want to try this leader more. But for now, I might have to glance back at this leader at another time. Maybe try it out, maybe do some testing with it, but I don't think this is going to be our new meta starter deck leader. You know, I feel like it's very hard for a starter deck leader to come out of the woodworks and be able to be played at a super competitive level. Typically, these decks are made for people just trying to get into the game, and it's great for doing that. It's great for buying one, buying another one for your friend, sitting down and having a good time with them. But is it better? Is it better than just having a good time with? Let's dive into the cards and really figure that out. Now, you'll notice this is the deck list. This is the list of cards that you will receive if you buy one copy of this list. And I'm going to tell you the same thing that I tell you in all of these videos. I recommend that you buy 2 copies of a starter deck if you are wanting to get the cards for it, or you're wanting to have a playset of everything, because there are a lot of 2-ofs, specifically a lot of 2-ofs in this deck. I feel like most aren't this heavy, but this one has quite a few 2-ofs. Typically, these super rares are always 2-ofs, and then usually we have a good event or a good character card that they only want to give you 2 of. But in this one, we have like 6 cards that we get 2-ofs each. So you'll definitely want to pick up a second copy of this deck if you're wanting to play some of these cards. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the big Usopp here. He's a 3-cost, 4,000 power, 1,000 counter character, Straw Hat Crew. Dawn times 1 when attacking. If you have a character with the cost of 8 or more, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 4 or less. So that's not bad for a small body like this, but it is a when attacking effect, so this does have to survive a whole turn. It is a 3-cost. If you have your leader effect online, you put it on under it, he does go up to a 4-cost, and I'm sure there are other cards in here to pair with it to make him higher so that it would be easier or harder for him to remove the field from something like a Rob Lucci or a KO effect or something like that. But I don't think it's a bad card. I just think that having to have an 8-cost on the field is pretty tough, you know, unless you're already at that high Dawn level. We do have an 8-cost in this deck and 6-cost, and you can raise with some of these other cards. But if you're able to make that work, I do think this is a pretty good card, being able to remove on attack. But like I said, this has to stick the field for a whole turn before you can do that. Next, we have one of the super rares, and that's going to be Sanji. It's a 5/6 Straw Hat Crew. If you have a cost of, on play, if you have a cost of 6 or greater character in play, KO up to one of your opponent's cost 5 or lower characters. So, yeah, I mean, if you have a Dawn under your leader, I'm pretty sure the ruling would work this way. This already gives your characters +1 cost. So if you were to put a Dawn under your leader and then play this would be a 6 cost. And I believe that would count for that, to meet that criteria. If not, there are some other characters in here that would work. You know, if you have your Brook or your Frankie on the field and your leader effect active, or your Zoro on the field and you played this Sanji, you would get to pop a 5 or lower. So I do think this is not a bad card. I don't think it's amazing, but popping a 5 is pretty good. I could see this put into some other decks, maybe, but Straw Hat, Black, not super searchable. You know, I don't know if we have a searcher in here or not yet, but it just feels okay to me. This is one of your super rares, probably one of the better cards in the deck, and popping a 5 is pretty good. There's no counter on it, though, but I don't think it's bad. I think it's decent. Next, we have a 3-cost 4K 1,000 counter Jinbei with the Fishman and Sun Pirates tag. He is not Straw Hat Crew. And activate main once per turn. Give up to one of your black characters with the Straw Hat Crew type +2 costs until the end of your opponent's next turn. So that's pretty good. This does boost these guys up an extra cost, or extra 2 cost for until your next turn. Until the end of your opponent's next turn. Yeah, until your next turn. So that's not bad. And it is activate main. You can just do this whenever you want. I do like that card effect pretty well. You know, if you pump something up like your 8-cost Luffy to something extraordinarily high against another black deck, they're not going to be able to reduce it enough to pop it. I do like that. I think it's pretty decent. I do think that if there is a searcher, I don't think there is a searcher in here, actually. I really don't think there is a black Straw Hat Crew searcher in this deck. But even if there was, you could not search this Jinbei, which I think is kind of sucks. Next, we have a 4/6 1,000 counter Tony Chopper. I love this card. It's an animal Straw Hat Crew. Super cute. Vanilla. Nothing special about it, but super cute. Love this card. Love this art. And then next, we have the other SR, which is going to be our 3-cost 2,000 power 1,000 counter Nami. It is a blocker. It is on play if you have a character with a cost of 8 or more and you have 6 or less cards in hand. Draw 1 card. So that's not bad. You know, if you can pump these guys up with cards like your Jinbei and your leader effect, and then you drop this on the field, you have 6 or less in hand, you get a draw. That's not bad. I don't mind that at all. I think that's actually pretty good. I think this could be played in other decks as well. This is not just restricted to this deck. I could see this making its way into a couple different decks just as a small chump blocker that you can pop on the field and draw an extra card. I think that's pretty decent. Next, we have Nico Robin, 6/7, 1,000 counter on play and when attacking. If you have an 8 cost or a higher character on field, give one of your opponent's characters -5 cost during this turn. Now, that's pretty strong. If you can reach that 8 cost requirement, giving -5 on play and when attacking, that's really, really good. You know, we look at cards like 4 cost Kuzan that attack and give -4 when attacking. This does it on play and when attacking. And the only other requirement is having to have that 8 cost on field. But I imagine when you play these cards and you optimize this build, you know, you're not playing straight out of the package. You optimize, play the good cards at 4-ofs and whatnot, maybe play a couple extra cards. You could do a lot with this. You could minus a lot and deal with a lot of cards. And I like it. I think this is a great card. Next, we have Haradus. 1 cost, 0 power, 2,000 counter. So this is one of your 2Ks that you receive in the deck. Activate main. You may rest this card. Give up to one of your black characters with the type Straw Hat Crew +2 until the end of your opponent's next turn. After this, if you control a cost 8 or higher character, draw 1 card and trash 1 from your hand. So I like that. That's pretty good. I mean, it's just like Jinbei, but you also get to draw and trash 1. So a little bit of hand cycle there. I think that's pretty good. And it is a 2K. It's only a 1 cost, whereas Jinbei's a 3 cost. This is a lot cheaper to put on the field and use immediately than a Jinbei. You could do a lot more with the rest of your Dawn. So I do like this, and it's a good 2K. Next, we have Frankie, 5/6, 1,000 counter, Dawn times 1 opponent's turn. If you have 6 cost or above character on your field, this character cannot be KO'd by your opponent's effects and gain +2,000 power. That's pretty good. I mean, he just can't be KO'd, and he becomes 8K, so he's hard to beat into. Like, this body's sticky, man. Like, you don't even have to use a lot of these other extra effects. If you have a Zoro or a Luffy on field, this guy just is an 8K that can't be killed on your opponent's turn. That's really, really good. He just has to have a Dawn on him. Like, I like this card a lot. I think that you could play this in more than just this deck. I like this card a lot. That's pretty powerful. Next, we have Brook, and this is just our 5/7 vanilla 1,000 counter Brook. Typically, these starter decks come with a 4/6 and a 5/7, as well as a 3/5. But I'm not seeing the 3/5 in here. I don't think we have one. But yeah, 5/7. Like it. Next, we have Heracles. 1/2 with a 2,000 counter, and it is activate main. You can rest this card. Give it to one of your black characters with type Straw Hat Pirates, +2 cost until the end of your opponent's next turn. So this is the same effect as Haradus and the same effect as Jinbei, but yeah, just on a 1 cost 2K. I think Haradus is just better. Yeah, it's just better. You get the cycle if you have an 8 in play. I mean, I guess you would do Heracles first, then Jinbei, then Haradus, so you can get that cycle. I guess my only fear is resting these cards. Jinbei, you don't have to rest, but these two you have to rest. So with them being small bodies, they can just easily get ran over. I feel like it's going to be hard to keep these on the field and be able to keep giving those boosts. But I do like this card. It's just another one of these guys, and it is a 2K. That's what we like to see. We like to see 2Ks in this deck. Next, we have the big, I guess, boss monster of the deck, and that's going to be your 8/10 Luffy. If you have a cost 10 or greater character on your field, this character gains rush. So, I mean, I like that. I think that's pretty good. I mean, you could just put this on the field, give him the bonus, and then he has rush. Pretty good. I don't mind that at all. I think that's actually pretty decent. You know, a 10K with rush is not bad at all. I think that's pretty dang good and hard to get rid of on the field as well. Next, we have our 6/8 vanilla Zoro, 1,000 counter. Nothing crazy. Cool artwork. Like it. And then this deck gives us 3 different events as well as a stage. They're all 2-ofs. So the first one we're going to have is Gum Gum Giant Rifle. 1 cost, counter. If you control a cost 8 or greater character, give up to 1 leader or character plus 3K power for this battle. So basically just a guard point. You know, I'd like to think if you're playing this deck optimally, you build it optimally, you're going to always have that 8 cost or higher character in play no matter what you do. This is just a guard point. This is just a black guard point. I like it. I think it's pretty good. And it has a trigger to add up to 1 2-cost or lower character from your trash to your hand. So you could add back your Haradus, your Heracles, stuff like that. I think those are only 2 targets in this deck, but I can imagine you play some other ones in another build of this. So I think this is pretty good. Not too bad of an event at all. Next, we have Gum Gum Diable, 3-sword style Muton Jet 600-pound cannon. of course, because it is the combo attack of Luffy, Sanji, and Zoro. It has to have the largest name I've ever read in my life, and I think that's hilarious. I like it a lot. But it is a 2-cost main event. Give your leader or one of your characters plus 3k power for the turn. Then if you have a cost 8 or greater character in play, KO up to one of your opponent's cost 2 or less characters. Now, my instant thoughts on this card, this is just the Black Amaru. You know, this is really, really good. I like this a lot. I think that this is worth just picking up. If you're not going to pick up the rest of the deck, pick this card up. Pick up a playset of this card. I think it's awesome. You're going to definitely want to have this on hand. I think these 2-cost events that give a boost and do something else for their respective colors are really, really strong, and this is the black one, and I do believe you should have a playset of it. I like this card a lot. It even has a trigger that says if you have an 8-cost or greater character in play, KO up to one of your opponent's cost 5 or lower characters. That trigger's broken. Being able to KO a 5 or less, that's Onami, man. I mean, that's really, really strong. That's Thunderbolt. I like it a lot. Next, I have my crew. This is a 1-cost main event. Draw 1 card. After this, give up to one of your characters plus 3 cost until the end of your opponent's next turn. I like that a lot. This feels like reverse Great Eruption. You draw a card and then give one of your dudes plus 3. Really, really strong. I like it. Trigger has a KO up to one of your opponent's 3 cost or lower characters. I like it. I like this card a lot. I definitely think this is another one that you should pick up. And then finally, we have the stage card, which is going to be the Thousand Sunny 1-cost stage. I love this artwork. It looks amazing. Your black characters with the Straw Hat Crew type have +1 cost. That is just a clause. Everyone, once it's on the field, has +1. That is really, really strong for this deck. It's not really, really strong for any other deck. Unless you're playing like a red-black leader and you can play the red Straw Hats, or maybe green-black and you're playing all the green ones. This, I mean, it literally is Straw Hat specific. It only works with these Straw Hats, as it should. It's the Thousand Sunny. But yeah, maybe there's a way to break this. Maybe something interesting you could do. I could see a cool green-black deck built with this that plays the film cards as well, because you could pump out a bunch of these other ones, offer your film bodies, get some searchability. I like it. I like that idea. I think that could be really, really cool. It also has on play, if your leader has the Straw Hat Crew type, draw a card. So not only does it give a boost to all your guys, which is really strong and helps with the what you want to do in this list, it also replenishes itself, which is something that I think stages need. You know, I like it. I think this card is awesome, and I think a green-black film 3D2Y deck could be a really interesting combo. Something you could try out with like Isho or Perona, something like that. But my overall initial thoughts, you know, I don't think this deck is broken. I don't think there's anything insanely overtly broken coming out of this starter deck. But do I think it's worth picking up? Yes, and here's why. This is a new mechanic, and when a new mechanic is introduced like this, I think that it is implications for what is to come in the future. And we did just get reveals for a new Luffy leader out of OP09 that we knew was coming. We just didn't know what it did. And it is purple-black, and it does have an effect to give plus cost to your characters. And some of these cards will fit perfectly in that deck, in my opinion. And I think that this is one reason just to go ahead and pick this deck up. Pick up 2 copies of it if you can for MSRP. Find them at your Target. Maybe pre-order if you still have the time to, but I do think there are a couple cards in here worth grabbing, even if you don't want these Straw Hat Crew cards. I think that this Gum Gum long ass name event is worth picking up. I think I Have My Crew is worth picking up as well. And I don't mind this Gum Gum Giant Rifle either. I think a couple of these other cards are okay, like the Monkey D. Luffy is pretty good. I think the Nami's pretty decent. I do like the Sanji quite a bit, and the Frankie, I think, is one of the better cards to come out of this deck. The Usopp is pretty playable as well, but is this a deck that you can pick up 2 of and then put together with the missing copies and go take and win your locals? Probably not. You might have a decent chance. You know, I do feel like some of the cards in here are pretty strong, but I don't think you'll be able to win. You're definitely not going to win a big regional or anything like that. But are these cards worth picking up in a vacuum? Yeah, I'd say so. I do like this deck. I think it's an interesting concept, and it seems like we're starting to move towards raising cost on cards to make it harder for them to get removed, get bonus effects and stuff like that. With the new Luffy leader coming out, I do think that it is a great time to go ahead and snag these, because I think that they're super playable with those cards. Now, that's about all I have for you today. I just wanted to talk about this, and if you like this kind of content, make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace.